hello everyone who's locked in live on Instagram and everyone who's on demand on your favourite streaming services and or YouTube. And my special guest today, she is a talented individual. She is an artist, she is a creator, she is a singer, she is a shouter, and most of all, she is amazing. And she is my guest. Her name is Laura Louise Hill from Ill Informed and many other places. Hello, Laura. How you doing?
Hello, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Just hoping this goes well. Like I had a lot of. I was not gonna lie. Like I was a bit stressed. I was like, shit. It's kind of getting a bit touch and go here. But we're here. We're active.
Yeah.
So but apart from that, how are you
We've
doing?
gone through many avenues to make this work. So
Yeah, we have indeed.
Oh, you frozen.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, how are you getting on with the lockdown?
Wait. Okay, you're not frozen anymore. This is it can only right. How have I been getting on with lockdown?
Yes.
Yeah. I am actually dealing with it way better than I expected I would be. When it was first announced, I was kind of like, it put me in a mild state of panic because I was kind of like, what am I going to do? Because in the past, when I've been in a situation where I've kind of been like isolated from people through my own doing or like something else, it's kind of got to me. But yeah, I've been dealing with it surprisingly well. And like when people have messaged me and asked how I'm doing, it's always been like, yeah, I'm genuinely surprised that I'm fine.
So is that personal resilience then? Like, do you think you've built that up over time? Like, what is that? Where do you think that's come from? Or
pure luck?
Pure luck. Just pulled it straight out.
Caught me on a good day.
Fair play, man. Fair play. Like, I mean, I've been touch and go. Like I have, if I'm honest. Like yourself. Normally, if I can't stay in, I'm very much. I get cabin fever a lot.
Yeah.
And I like to do things, and I like to move, and I like to. I don't know. I can't be stuck indoors, and I think I've been a bit down, and then I've been a bit up, and then I've been back down again. But I think I'm back at a place where I'm like being creative, doing this, doing a few other bits. So yeah, like I think not too bad. But
yeah,
no, I don't know how long have you been in this thing for now.
Well, however long it's been officially. What is that, like 5 weeks? I want to say plus an extra week for me because the week before it was all announced, I had a cold and I knew it was just a cold. And I messaged my tutor and I was like, look, under government guidelines, I'm supposed to be staying indoors, but I know it's just a cold. What do you want me to do? And he was like, just stay at home. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But ended up kind of being like, there's some stuff at uni that I need to finish and I can't go in and get it because uni's closed. So I should have just lied and told him that I was fine and gone in and got my stuff. But instead I was lazy and I was like, nah, it won't last longer than 3 weeks. It'll be fine. And now we're heading up towards 6 weeks.
But the thing is, like, knowing, I don't know, like, if that was me, knowing my luck, I would have gone into university that day and definitely got it.
Yeah, true.
Like, even though you just had a cold, like, if it was me, I don't know your luck that well, but if it was me, I would have definitely gone into university, got it, and then been, like, fucking pissed that I had it.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 weeks is a long time, man. What do you miss?
I really miss seeing my friends, and it's one of those things where like you don't really, it's such a cliche, but you don't appreciate what you've got until you don't have it anymore. And like my friends live not far away from me. Like Rafe lives 20 minutes maximum away, and that's if there's like traffic. And we all kind of usually congregate at Rafe's house. So like Rafe's roughly within 20 minutes of everyone. And the fact that we can't just go there and hang out, it really gets to me. And I messaged him about 3 weeks ago or something on an off day. And I was like, can I just come and stay at your house, please? Like, I'll live in your shed. I don't even care. I just want to be around more people than just my parents. And he was like, no. And I was really offended. I was like, oh, okay, fine. But yeah, like I just miss seeing people, or not even seeing people, but the ability to go and see people. What about you?
Bit of both. I'm more interested in the fact of you're all so close to each other, and it's been really difficult. Obviously, I'm like, some of my friends are close, some of them aren't. The band boys aren't, like, we're no longer close to each other anymore. So that's been fucking tough. Like, that has been really hard. I've said it like every kind of podcast I've done with all three of them. Like, I've missed them so much. Like, I miss them a lot. I miss having that space, especially just to kind of let my hair down and just like be me, like, and just lose. You know what it's like? You go rehearsals, you know, it's like you lose your shit, didn't you? Like, you get to leave it there, right? It's like it's a catharsis, it's a therapy once a week. I don't know how often you guys practice, but for us it's once a week, and it's that. I miss, like, I think you hit the nail on the head, the ability to.
Yeah.
It's
like a lot of the time I'll be like, oh yeah, maybe I'll hang out with someone today, and then I'll like have something to do at home, so I'll just do that instead, and I'll meet up with them another day. And now I like can't do that. I'm being stopped from doing that.
Yeah, and it's that right. So it's that mental / physical, potentially for me, spiritual block that hits. So you'll be, I don't know about you, like, I'll get up, I'll go about my day, and then I'll be like, all right, okay, cool, I'm gonna go do whatever it is. Like, even if it's going to the shop, like, I kind of like subconsciously know we're in quarantine and the rest of it. I'll go to the shop, and like, there's a Tesco's near me, and I went up to this, and I'm like, wait, what? Why are all these people? And I'm like, oh shit, that's the queue.
Yeah, that's what mine's like as well.
Right, and then it hits you, and then you're like, what? You know, you're like, what the fuck do I have to? You know, and then you have to deal with that right in that moment. And I find that quite, I find that bit quite, I don't know, it's fucking unreal. Like, I'm 25. Yeah. I've never had to experience that at 25. Like, 25 years, I've never had to experience that. So, it's a weird experience.
Yeah. The first time that I went down to the Tesco on my road, I was like on the way there, and I saw a bunch of people like hanging around where there's like some bars. To stop the cars driving into the wall, essentially. And I saw some people hanging around there, and I was like, oh, it's those kids again. Me, 25 years old. But yeah, I was like, oh, damn kids. And then I got there, and I was like, oh, they're not loitering. They've been told to stay there. So yeah, it's very strange.
It is proper weird. I mean, like, so whereabouts are you affiliated, like, geographically?
Well, as a band, we say that we're like southeast. Mm-hmm. We used to say that we were Hertfordshire, but like, I'm from Luton, Rafe's from like just outside of Luton. Dan's the most central one because he's in Harpenden, and then Jordan's in St Albans.
I only really know Luton and St Albans.
Well, Harpenden's like halfway between.
Okay. Oh man, yeah. It's just, yeah, like, I'm still perplexed even to this, that, like, even now, like 5 weeks in, I'm still perplexed about like how much this has all changed the world, obviously. But we've both mentioned that we go shopping at Tesco, so it's probably what we deserve, right? Like, it's karma saying stop fucking shopping at Tesco, you wrong'uns. But yeah, what are you like? How have you been keeping busy? Because I know. Okay, maybe let me rewind. So for the audience, explain a bit more about yourself, about what you do in the sense of as art as a whole, as a holistical kind of approach. Because I know you're more than just in a band, but you know, try and explain to everyone like what else you do, and then I'll ask you the next question. Okay.
So, well, first and foremost, whenever someone's like, "Oh, what do you do day to day?" then I'm always like, "Oh, well, I'm in a band." But then I also promote gigs with Luton Lives, and like I'm engrossed in that whole side of things, and then I'm also at uni, and I'm doing an art course, so I'm constantly learning new things. Like, you go into an art course as someone who, they always encourage you to consider yourself an artist and not an art student. So I like go into things as an artist, and it's like, oh yeah, I already know stuff, and then they're always like, I don't think you know everything that you think you know. And so like, I'm just discovering how to use oil pastels and stuff, and that was purely of my own volition. I was just like, like 2 days ago, I was like, I'm just gonna start using oil pastels now. This is who I am now, and I've done 2 oil pastel drawings and stuff. I always tend to ramble when
no. Tell me, like, I want to know. Like, I've asked a question. I want to fucking know.
So yeah, I do art as well. but like all types of art, from like pencil onto paper to like woodwork and clay and all sorts of stuff.
I didn't know you'd done woodwork. Cool.
Yeah, I have something that I've made right in front of me, so I could show you that.
Yeah. Show me. Show us. Show
Okay.
everyone. Yeah, I want to know.
So actually that kind of links into the next thing about me, because I play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Yes. Nice.
So me and the boys, and then some of our other friends as well, we all meet up. We want it to be once a week. It's never once a week. It's at least once every 2 weeks, sometimes once a month. But we have dice that we have to roll, and because I'm a big nerd, I made a rolling tower. So it like, wait.
Show me. I want to see this rolling tower.
Okay. It's like
sick.
Insane.
That looks sick.
But yeah, it's got a little flag and like vines and moss and stuff growing up it, and it's like I use textured paint as well because, and then yeah, it goes.
So tell me how it works. You just pop the dice in.
Yeah, you put the dice in the top. At the moment, it kind of gets stuck because I didn't realise, but the textured paint is kind of like sandpaper, and sandpaper is well grippy. But it kind of, I don't know if it'll work. There, and then the dice.
It sounded like it worked. And then that's the number. All right, okay, yeah. That's cool.
And I made that completely from scratch. Like I just came up with the pattern myself and then made it. So
that's wicked.
Thanks.
So that's like that's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, sorry. Like just Aiden said, Sonny's nerding out. I'm a huge nerd. I can't really move my phone, but I have Alduin from Skyrim, the dragon, mounted on a wall in my bedroom. I have such nerdy shit. That's one thing I could never really get into was D&D. Not because I didn't try, I just had no one around me to play. And then I used to work at a school specialising for autism, and the kids tried to teach me, but their ability to pick up stuff was amazing and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm dyslexic / dyscalculia, right? So my ability to pick up things was dreadful. And they just got angry at me and told me, they literally kicked me out of the campaign. They were like, you're just rubbish. So I was like, kicked out of the D&D campaign.
That's so sad.
But yeah, sorry, because that's a side tangent. Go on, tell me what else. What else you been learning at fucking Art Uni, man?
I recently learned how to use a sewing machine as well. So I've been making clothes.
Nice, sick. Yes, I think I saw one of your posts, or we had a chat the other day, and you showed me, right?
Yeah. So I've made. I'm like halfway through making like a 50s style wrap skirt. I've made 2 pinafores. This is all since the second week of lockdown, by the way. Sick. 2 pinafores, like a skirt and top combo. Mm-hmm. What else? There's more. I made a oversized top into a crop top, and I'm sure there's other things as well. There's at least one more thing that I've made. But yeah, I just kind of, I kind of have an ability to pick things up quite quickly as well. Like once I understand it, it's like I can fully do it.
Sick. So
there's not that. Maybe it's because I wouldn't consider myself a perfectionist because a lot of the time I'm like, fuck it, it'll do.
Yes.
But it's definitely a case of like if I try and pick something up and it seemed like it's working, I just throw everything I have at it. So
interesting, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really interesting. So, I mean, I was going to ask you what you've been doing to keep yourself busy during the lockdown, but
that's only like a week and a half's worth of stuff. So.
And so, what you've been doing for the rest of it, like?
Well, like I said before, I've been picking up not oil painting, but like oil pastel art.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what is that? Like, explain, because I don't know anything when it comes to.
Okay, so if I was oil painting, then I'd have like actual like paints, but oil pastels are like basically crayons. It's basically just an adult version of playing with a crayon.
That's sick.
So that I've been doing the clothes. I've been doing some drawing. My cousin has got 2 daughters, and one of them, she's like 3 now, I think, and she's getting really like angsty. So because she's just like stuck in the house all the time. So
of
I did
course.
some like colouring stuff for her. Apart from that, what have I been doing? I tidied my room, and that's a big
Yes.
deal for me. And I've been trying to do a bit more exercise as well, because I'm really unfit anyway. Like I never do
Yeah.
anything. My parents were like, "Oh, we're going on a walk. Do you want to come?" And I'm always like, in the morning, I'm always like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go on the walk now at like 7 o'clock." And I'm like, "Oh, but I just sat down to do some uni work. Oh no, I can't." So I've been on like 2 or 3 walks. And yeah, uni work as well. So I've been writing a lot of like mini essays,
Okay. Anything? And what about
art.
art?
Loads of
Just
different
pure
types of
art.
art. Yeah, so
Right.
we're going to be doing this blog for uni, and it's like they're basically just trying to get you to figure out what online persona you want. But
Okay.
because I'm a massive nerd, they're like, oh, you have to write like some short blog entries. But because at one point they use the word essay, I'm like, sick. Let
Yeah.
me smash this out. So I'm like, I've been writing way too many words for these essays. And then we had a group call today for uni, and I kept calling them essays, and they were like, "You do realise they're not supposed to be essays, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh, but
Shit.
they have lots of words in them." And they're like, "They don't need to have that many words, Laura. Like it's
And
like
what's your limit? What's your word count?
well, it says a minimum of 200 words, right? But I
That's
don't
fuck
know
all.
exactly how am I
That's
supposed to
nothing.
analyze a painting accurately in 200 words. It's not going to be done. So I'm averaging at about 400.
Shit, that's really fucking small, right?
I know.
Man, like, because when I was studying, we had again, I studied youth work. The essays we had to do, we was actually we were limited due to regulations. We couldn't actually have full length assignments and essays, and we struggled. Like, but I think I was still allowed like thousands. I was in like I think 6,000. 200 is fuck all.
Yeah, I know. But like people are like, "Oh, that's so easy. That's fine. 200 is nothing." And I'm like, "Yeah, 200 is nothing. How am I supposed to get my point across in 200 words?"
Yeah, like you might be able to. No offense, like I'm not saying you, but someone else on your course potentially might be able to turn out a piece of shit in 200. But to actually get some work done, surely,
Yeah.
like to actually get something that you're proud of.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is my problem. Like I don't want it to be shit, and some people would be able to get what I'm writing into 200 or 300 words, and it still be just as good. But for me, I need to like fill it out
Yeah,
with more
I'm
stuff.
the same as you. Yeah, I'm the same as you.
I'm like
100%.
coming across as an art critic rather than like someone who's just looking at some work. So
But it's important, like surely, like it's that value of yourself, your work, what you think, your thoughts. Like it's value. I perceive anyway, like straight up. But yeah, that's nuts. So like, I've, you know, like you're the first person I've actually spoken to that's in at university in quarantine. So the fuck, like, how is that working?
yeah, I don't know really. So we're the first year at the art school that's doing semesters instead of terms. So in a
Okay.
way, we're kind of lucky because we did our first semester before Christmas, and then we're like towards the end of our second semester already. So the work that we were given at the beginning of this semester is what we're working on this whole time. So we already kind of know what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So I've got like my portfolio sketchbook stuff to do, and I've got this blog to do, and then that's pretty much it. Whereas I know there's some people who would probably have just been given their new stuff like a week or so ago if they were still
Right.
if they were doing terms instead of semesters. So they're kind of like the support that I'm getting is like I can do online video calls with my tutors or like email them and stuff, and that's fine because I already know what I'm doing, whereas some people will have just got their new stuff and it's like everything for this term that they're doing is going to be online. And I like if it was like a more academic course, then that's kind of easier to do because there's a right and a wrong answer for those sorts of things. Whereas when it's a creative course, it's like there's so many different factors that you have to take into account. So I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. I'm kind of always looking on the bright side of it.
That's crazy shit. Like, that is nuts. I mean, so how long is your course?
Well, I'm in my first year, and it's a 3-year course, so I've got 2 years left. But then because I want to do teaching, so I'm going to have an extra year or 2. I can't remember. It seems to change all the time, of a PGCE, so that I can teach.
What do you want to do? Like, talk about teaching. Like, where do you see yourself going in teaching? Anything specialist? Like, obviously I know art, but like,
yeah.
So
before I started uni, so growing, like when I was in school, and then in college, it was always like, oh, I want to go to this uni, I want to go to this uni, and I was always like, I just don't want to go to uni. Like, it never appealed to me. I was never into it. And then I worked at a school, 2 years ago. Like, I worked there for 1 year, so not from last September, but the September before that through to the end of that year. Like the following year, and working, because it was a high school, and I was working in the like special educational needs section of it, and it was so rewarding, and I was like, I want to help people, and like that was the first time where I'd felt like not just that I was helping people, but that it was something that I could do long term. So yeah, I looked into it. I wanted to do like a combined teaching and art course, but they don't do them in any of the places that I looked anyway. So I figured, well, I'll just have to do the art course and then do the teaching course. And if I do them all full time and I pass everything, then I should be teaching by the time I'm 30. So
nice.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And then I'm also kind of learning sign language as well. So if I get good enough at that, then I can teach art in a deaf school.
Mate, that's wicked. Like, fucking A. I mean, again, just talking from my experience, like, I've been doing youth for about 6 years now. I started off in SENS and learning impairments. And the resource for art with special educational needs was, so, I mean, in Hertfordshire, my end of Hertfordshire, was so limited, like really, really limited, and it was really crap. But there were so many people that really wanted to kind of break through. And I just thought there were so many, and like, again, within school education, informal education, it's all target based, right? And it was evidence based. And we had to get evidence and targets. And for me, it was quite easy because I had the music studio. So it was like, here's, AQA thing of learn a guitar, learn an instrument, learn a chord, whatever. I could do that with the young people. But that was it. And that's all there was. So once that was over and done with, these young people really wasn't leaving with anything after our services as much as we would like to. We tried to get to the arts pursuit further, and no funding for it. Just no funding. And it was really crap because it was something that young people were so interested in. And like you were saying earlier, because it's so subjective and it's down to interpretation and down to whatever that individual wants to create, it's kind of limitless in the sense of the outcomes that are possible for people, right? And I think it's a shame, but hats off to you to wanting to do that. And I kind of wish you all the best of luck in pursuing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, just let me know how it goes. Like, that's fucking cool. So sounds like you've been proper busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's sick. That's pretty cool. So I want to change the pace and go more into music.
Yeah.
So before we crack on with asking you personally about your pursuits in music, I just wanted to know if there was any artists, playlists, albums, songs that you've been listening to that you could recommend anyone.
Yeah.
For the lockdown.
Well, it's funny because when I'm in like gig mode, when I'm like playing shows or like there's someone like a gig coming up that I want to go to, then I get like well into that genre, and I tend to mostly go out to like hardcore or heavy shows now. But as soon as it's like summer, and especially now there's nothing to look forward to as such, like in terms of I haven't got any gig tickets because there aren't any, I just dip straight back into like lo-fi and pop and that kind of stuff. So like my Spotify Wrapped at the end of each year is so confused because last year it was like, you've listened to a lot of pop rap this year, and I'm like, but my favourite band is Knocked Loose. I just listened to the CDs. And that's the issue with Spotify Wrapped, because if I listen to like 2 Knocked Loose albums just on repeat in my car every journey, but it doesn't come up on my Spotify, it's like, your favorite band is Joji. But Joji's great. But recently I've been listening to a lot of Lana Del Rey and Harry Styles and a bit of Mac Miller as well.
So I don't listen to any of them artists, I'm not gonna lie. What has drawn you to that, especially Harry Styles? Like, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you. Like, that's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I want to know where that sits with you. Like, where the fuck did you like that shit? Tell me now. I'm trying to be polite, man. Yeah, go on. Tell me.
You know the meme of the woman, and there's all these like equations coming across her face, and you're like, Harry Styles? What the fuck is going on?
I listen to some fucking freaky shit, but yeah, tell me, like, Harry Styles. Go on.
Okay, so I'm gonna go like back to like 2009 Laura, 2008 Laura, where she's like, you don't listen to My Chemical Romance? What's wrong with you?
Wow.
Ew.
Yeah,
You listen to Cher Lloyd? I don't like that kind of music because it's pop. But like, as I've got older, I've kind of realized, like, just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's shit, and that like other people can like it, and it's really not a big deal. And then I guess having that mindset as well made me kind of be like, well, maybe it's not so bad. So a couple of years ago, I started listening to Lorde, just the Melodrama album, just on repeat. And I started getting into like rap as well, and not proper rap, because I kind of just regard it as white girl rap, where like it's white girls can just get into it, no issue. And it, so like Tyler the Creator, Childish Gambino, I
wouldn't say fucking dropping Gambino into that fucking genre.
No. It's not a criticism of him, but
I know what you're saying.
It's accessible. But I think that's I think that's very cleverly done on their part.
Laurel Kana.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. So just rewind. Childish Gambino, favorite tune?
Oh, I mean, Sweatpants was like way high up on my list for so long. But I like a selection of different ones. Basically, all of the top Spotify songs, those are my favorite ones.
Like, yeah.
I'm just a cliche, really.
Yeah, I mean, he's what, like, sometimes I'll throw him on when I'm working out, and man, I'm like singing, screaming the house down, because he's fucking sick. Gambino, Charles Gambino is a fucking guy. Yeah. So you're saying Tyler the Creator, Charles Gambino.
Yeah. Kendrick Lamar. Who else? And then Mac Miller as well. So I kind of got into those, and then they introduced me to other things. So like, not necessarily other artists that they've worked with as such, because I kind of I'm just rubbish at finding new music to listen to unless someone like puts it in my face and goes, listen to this. But like, it introduced me to being like, oh, maybe lo-fi is something that I'd be into and stuff like that. So then I kind of got into Joji, and then I kind of got into Lorde, and then because I was into Lorde, I was started listening to Lana Del Rey, and then I think Harry Styles just like, it was on like an advert or something, and I was like, this is actually not that bad. So I started listening to like his top songs on Spotify, and just like listened to them solid for like a week. So
and that's the thing, like, I'm not judging you. Everyone, listen, I'm going to say this. I'm not judging you. Everyone fucking judges. Yeah. Like, we have it. It's an innate thing. And I don't get down with it. It doesn't mean it's shit, like you said. But if they're the artists that you're recommending, man, fucking people, go listen to that shit. Tell me if you like it. Find out. I mean, who knows? I mean, like, lo-fi stuff, I've been listening to a lot of lo-fi instrumentals. Loads. Grew up on like grime and garage. So both my older brothers were DJs. One was a garage DJ and one was more of a grime DJ. So I was like, listen to that all of the time. And then I think my brother Sam had a mate who was kind of into like indie, like Block Party and stuff. And then embarrassingly, I was like, this is great. I'm going to grow my hair long and wear skinny jeans and this is my life. And that was it, like kind of opened up. But yeah, it's a bit nuts when you kind of think about music and how it shapes and what you listen to and how much you like different genres and varieties you listen to music. Can I suggest an artist for you if you don't already listen to?
Okay, go on.
Mac DeMarco?
Oh yeah, see, that's a name that I've heard a lot, but just never listened to.
Yeah. So everyone says Mac DeMarco Salad Days, listen to that, right? It's a phenomenal album, really good album. It's cool. If you like slacker rock, chill shit, you'll like that. But listen to his album 2, the number 2. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, I think especially like with everything that's going on now, lockdown, time to kill, chilling out, whatever, is cool. And I think you would like the way he puts his music together as well. It's a bit weird. I don't know. Just check it out. So all right. So that's the stuff you've been listening to a lot lately.
Yeah.
So I know you, for anyone just kind of catching up on YouTube or listening live now, I know Laura through the gigging circuit. We have crossed paths, bands playing, shouting, getting down. I'm pretty sure I've grabbed Laura once and screamed "Are you free?" at her for a good like minute. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
You like sat me on a stool and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, what do I do?
Oh man. But it was fun. We had fun.
Yeah.
Listen, if you guys want to see a fucking sick show, go see Ill Informed. Like, you lot throw down and you really fucking get involved and it's cool. But yeah, so we know each other through that. But Ill Informed has developed.
Yeah.
Has changed. Has grown. Has blossomed.
Mm-hmm.
Has shape
Definitely
shifted.
blossomed. Yeah.
Blossomed. And for me, it was huge. Like, huge for me. Obviously, I don't know about you guys. You're in the process. You're behind the scenes working away at that. But it went from one sound to another sound that I was never expecting you guys to go. Ever. Like, ever. And as much as it was so welcomed, refreshing, all of the positive stuff that comes to it, the creature comfort in me, or the person who doesn't like, we're scared of change as individuals, as humans, we don't like change, right? When I heard it, I was like, fuck, like, what is this all about? So now I've got you here, I want to have a really lengthy conversation about that process.
Okay.
Right. So
it's a really good story.
Yeah, right. Start from the very beginning. I want to know all of it.
Okay, from the absolute complete birth of Ill Informed, as it was back then, me, Rafe and Dan had been in a band before, and we still wanted to make music, and we always got on. We liked each other's creativity and the way that we would come up with songs together and stuff like that. So it was kind of always felt like it was meant to be us three, at least. So when we started writing new stuff, it kind of lent itself to being more punky and kind of gritty, for want of a better word, like messy, basically, because we had we did have a bassist that didn't go well, because he just kind of stopped turning up, and we were like, we're going to be ready for a show very soon. And if you're not ready, then we're going to have to go on without you. So that happened. And they tried to get me to play bass and sing at the same time, and it just wasn't working. So we were like, well, let's just work our way around it and see what we can do. So, Rafe would split his guitar between a bass and guitar cab. Dan would drum, and then I would just kind of smash the shit out of a cymbal and just shout really loud into a microphone, and it worked. And like we got it was nice. Like I've never like put like an end goal on things. So for me, every time something new has happened that like we hadn't done before, it was like a massive achievement for me, because I was always the kind of person that was like way too shy to even step onto a stage, let alone actually perform in front of people and stuff like that. So yeah, we would do things like we'd play shows, and then people would be like, when we released our first EP, people would like sing our words, sing my words that I wrote back to me, and it was like so exciting. But there was always this kind of like, we wanted to be heavier than we were, but because of various things, like my vocals, when I was just yelling, it was quite a high range, and just stuff like that. Like we weren't able to make the like leap into heavier music. Alongside that, I was like, the heaviest music I was listening to at the time was Frank Carter. So like
Fucking sick. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a cool guy and they're a cool band. But it's not heavy. Like even Gallows was heavier than the Blossom album. And yeah, so like it was fine for what it was and what we were doing at the time, but we always kind of wanted to make that jump into the heavier music scene. And then last year, in about April-ish, we played a show with was it God Complex? No, not God Complex. Gassed Up? I can't remember. One of the two. I think it was. It might have been both of them. I can't remember. I have a very bad memory. But yeah, we played a show with them at the Old Blue Last.
Nice, good venue.
And that was the gig where we were like, okay, this is what we want to do. Like none of the bands could be considered light on the bill, but we were definitely in the not as heavy as the others category. And we were like, something needs to change. So that was when we started writing new stuff, and we were obviously still gigging and like playing the old stuff, like the stuff that was on our EP and stuff like that. And we'd actually recorded an EP, like a second EP, but we'd never released it. We released one song from it, which was I'm Glad I Have Eyes. And then we kind of took the vibe from that song. Like, you know, if you've seen the video, it's like this whole red thing going on, because the idea was it's supposed to be in like a dark room where you develop photos. But we really liked the whole like red and black vibe. And I think we took a break for about a month or so. And we started writing the newer stuff. And then I think at the end of the summer, we played a show, and it was kind of predominantly, we were still playing the stuff off the first EP, but we'd started to try and incorporate the heavier sound. And then I changed my vocal technique. Rafe started using heavier gauge strings and playing in drop B. And yeah, and like and I started listening to Knocked Loose, and that's all thanks to Rafe, because anything Rafe listens to, he shows me, and I'm like, okay, now I like this. So like Rafe's definitely been the biggest influence on my music taste, because I kind of consider his music taste way superior to mine.
Oh, okay.
So anything that he likes, I know will probably be good. Give or take a few things. But yeah, so I started listening to heavy music, and so did Rafe, and obviously Jordan was with us by then as well, and he was listening to heavier music. Dan has always been into his like different. Dan has a very strange music taste, and it's kind of like mine in how it goes from one massive variation to the other, but his is more like mathy and twinkly and nice sounding stuff on that side of things. But yeah, recently he started getting into some heavier music as well. So because we were then listening to heavier music, we knew what people would be looking for if we wanted to get into that kind of scene. And we actually started, not that we weren't taking ourselves seriously before, because we were like, we never wanted to come across as a joke band or anything. But there were certain songs that we wrote that had like funny lyrics in them and stuff like that, because we were just having fun, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course not.
But yeah, we kind of started taking ourselves seriously as like as wanting to become part of a bigger scene. We would always be put, when we were the vibe that we had before, we were always, it was like, oh, maybe we'll put them on a metal night, maybe we'll put them on a punk night. We never really fitted somewhere. And then once we made the change, and especially once we released this like mini EP 2-song thing, that was kind of like the real taking off point for us, where we suddenly felt like we were part of the scene that we'd wanted to be in for so long. And it was such a relief to have a good reception for that as well. Like, there were people who, when I had mentioned to them that we were thinking of making this change, and anytime they heard like a little snippet of a demo and stuff like that, they were always like, oh, I'm a bit concerned. But once we did it, like, even the people who were a bit concerned at first, they were like, yeah, this sounds so much better, like so much more like what we want to do. So yeah, long explanation over.
No, I'm glad I heard it. I mean, there's a few bits I want to go back to, like, and kind of dive in with you. First of all, Rave's guitar sound, like, when you guys, prior, I remember watching you guys for the first time, and I'm pretty sure it was me and Aidan standing watching, and when he hit that splitter pedal and that tone come through, and I cannot remember for the life of me the first time we played a show together, but man, it was fucking unreal. Like, we were like, that's a fucking sick sound. That was a sick tone, sick sound. You guys have always sonically sounded really well, really put yourselves together well, and it was considered always. Like, I think you used the term messy at one point when you was explaining it. I was like, I never considered it messy. Very organized, very well put together. I mean, we considered ourselves sloppy, messy as fuck, but you know, that's it. That's a different conversation. But man, that was like really well put together. Sounded amazing. And then again, I've seen you guys live since the change. I've listened to you need to plug your shit more. So you guys have released a split single.
It's like a 2-track EP.
Right, a 2-track EP with the songs Void and Spite on it, I'm pretty sure. Right.
Yeah, and then there's like an intro as well.
Right. So it sounds different again compared. I'm pretty sure it's down there. I've got the EP. One of your first EPs down there. But anyway, listen to the fucking tracks, guys. They're sick. Anyway, besides that, like, you went from being a 3-piece to a 4-piece.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that process. So, because that's a deal. That's a huge deal. You're introducing someone new to the formula.
Yeah. It's actually kind of a funny story as well. So we played a show at what was the Flag at the time, and someone that we had known from like old gigs back in like 2015 messaged us and was like, oh, I'm doing this thing for uni where we have to record a live show, can I come along with a friend and record the show? And we were like, yeah, that would be great, like it'd be cool to see what it looks like. And he was like, oh, can I like making it into a music video for you? So we were like, well, we don't have a music video, so why not? Like, we've got nothing to lose. And that person was Jordan, and he messaged us afterwards. I think it might have even been before actually, and he was like, oh, I see that you're a 3-piece and you don't have a bassist. I play bass. Do you fancy maybe having a bassist? And we were like, oh, well, the 3-piece thing is kind of our vibe, so no thanks. So he was like, okay, no worries, like I'll still come and film you guys. And we were like, cool, that's fine. But then from that point, he just didn't leave us alone.
Yes. Yes.
He became like, he was like, so obviously me, Dan and Rafe, we were like a unit. It's like a marriage at this point. Like, we've been together so long, I can't imagine my life without them. And Jordan just wormed his little way in
Nice.
and became like another really important part of our group. And like he definitely brings something extra to the band, but also to like just the friendship group in general. But yeah, so that was in like the November-ish kind of time, maybe October, November kind of time. Then it got all the way around to the August, I think it was. And he'd been coming to as many shows as he could. We played a show in Brighton, and he like got the train down to Brighton.
Bless him,
and
man.
met up with us there, and like came to see us there and everything. And like he was the most loyal fan. And then it was like, I think it was his birthday or something, and we'd been talking about because we knew that we wanted to get a bit heavier anyway. And we were like, well, we do have Jordan, like he has expressed an interest before. And then yeah, we just kind of like, how do you feel about wanting to join the band maybe? And he was like, are you joking? And we were like, no,
that's
like
so
we're serious.
cool.
And he was really pleased to join, and we were really pleased that he still wanted to as well, that we hadn't like, pushed him away too much.
So fuck off, we don't want you, leave.
yeah, it's our vibe. But yeah, and he's like, because he listens to like Tool as well, and I don't think the rest of us, I don't think we listen to Tool. The only person who's likely to listen to Tool is Dan, because it's a bit obscure and strange. But yeah, so he brings along all these things, these like bass riff ideas that we wouldn't have even thought of, partially because we're not bassists and partially because we don't listen to Tool. But yeah, like he has some great ideas, and yeah, he's like a well-woven part of the group.
Yeah. That's, you know what? That's a fucking really wholesome story, man. Like that's really cool.
Like we always were like, we won't get a bassist just for the sake of having a bassist. Like if we need a bassist, we don't want to like go out and audition someone and find someone to come to us. Like we want them, we want to know that we get on really well with them in the first place. And then Jordan just kind of like was the fairy godmother of this. And yeah.
It's cool, man. And it sounds like it happened in like perfect timing, like how it kind of reared round, and like you guys were deciding, go heavier, he's come along, and then fresh in your mind, sick timing, man. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then birthed into the new improved, let's say, if you want to say, I don't want to say it's improved, I don't want to put any other connotation on it, but the new and informed.
Oh, it's definitely improved, yeah.
I mean, that's not for me to say, but I think, yeah, fucking cool, man. Sorry, I'm kind of taken back. It's really wholesome. So you've gigged quite a few times now with the new outfit, let's say, with the new sound.
Yeah.
And you did say, again, another thing I want to dive deep into is that you're glad it was well received.
Yeah.
How has it been? Like just the whole coming into a new scene. Because again, another thing you said was that you don't know where you're put on fucking metal nights, you put on punk nights, you put on this night, and it is. I feel that fucking annoyance, but it's hard. Like, but now you're locked into a community.
Yeah.
So how's that been?
And like that was the whole thing. Like we didn't even realize what it would be like until we were actually into it. But yeah, we released the music having already played a few shows that were kind of mixed bill, kind of mathy, heavy. Like we played a show in Brighton with El Muno, I think. We played, where was the next one? We played another show in Brighton with, because we'd gone on like a mini kind of tour thing. And so we played some shows with Negative Frame. We played some shows with Earthbound, and that was when we were showing like us as the new us. That was the kind of beginning of it, and that was mid to late last year. And then we knew that we wanted to get on heavier shows, and the only way to do that was to have something that people can listen to and be like, this is what these guys sound like, this is the show they need to be on. So we kind of shopped around a bit and looked for who would be best to record our stuff, because the first two EPs that we recorded They were both recorded with Tim from, well, formerly of Hacktivist fame and now of multiple bands fame.
Yeah.
And we kind of were like, we liked how he worked. Like he was super easy to get on with when we were there, and like it was fun. It was fun to record with him, but the style that he tends to record is a bit more polished, and like tech metal, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go with someone who kind of understood the more hardcore side of things. So yeah, we looked around a bit. I messaged a couple of people, and we ended up recording with Connor Sweeney, who is in Loathe. And so we went up to Liverpool one weekend, and he's like the nicest guy ever. And he's a really good person to record with, because he pushes you. Like, it was kind of like, if you don't play it right, I will learn it and I will play it because I can play it better than you. But like we all wanted to be the one that played it. So like Jordan took a while. Jordan has an issue with playing to a click track because it's something that he hasn't done. So yeah, he found it really difficult, and Connor was like, do you want me to play that difficult bit for you? And Jordan was like, just give me a second, I can do it. And Connor was like, that's perfectly fine. Like, I just want you guys to be happy. So yeah, we recorded the tracks. He got them sent over to us within, I don't know, a couple of weeks, when they were completely finalized, because he'd been working on something else as well. So it took like 2 or 3 weeks or something. And then, yeah, we got them back, and it was the first time I'd ever been happy with how my vocals had sounded on recording.
Wow.
And also how like how it had sounded as a whole as well. Like, I'd always, with the old stuff, even the stuff that we've got on the EP, like I can't listen to it because I don't like how my vocals sound, because I'm really self-critical with that. But yeah, with the newer songs, it was like, I'm so happy with how it sounds. I'm so happy that we went to Connor and that he kind of put his own twist on it the way we wanted it to sound. Because he kind of said to us, who do you want to sound like? And obviously I was like, oh, Knocked Loose, please. But yeah, like we put a few bands towards like as an idea, and then he was like, okay, cool. And he kind of helped us find the vibe that we were looking for. So yeah, that was really good. Yeah, and then we released it, and even just before we'd released it, we were able to send out the like mixed, finalized copies to places and promoters and stuff that we wanted to kind of get in with. And then yeah, we released it, and then we played 2 shows quite soon after each other at the New Cross Inn, which is like the hardcore venue of London, or it's up there with all the good hardcore venues in London. But yeah, like we played them, and it was like, I don't want to sound cringy, but it was like that was where our like home was, like with that kind of crowd. Like we were playing music that we wanted to play, and the reaction from other people was the reaction we wanted. So like people were like spin kicking and like swinging their arms around and punching each other, and it was like, that's what we want. That's where we've been trying to head. So yeah, it was really, really cool.
Fucking cool, man. I'm really happy that's happened for you guys, because it's that is something when you're starting out you really do want. You want to sense a community. You want to feel like that you're playing with a crowd and an audience that is a part of your community, and that's a fucking powerful feeling when it happens. And I'm fucking glad you guys got that, because you guys put in the work. You put in a lot of work, and it's paid off. Yeah, which is amazing to hear. And I'm glad that, just looking at the time, we are going to need to wrap up quite shortly, but it's quite a good. It's a positive way of wrapping up. But before we do, I always like to end the show at the minute, because we are in lockdown currently. At the time of this recording, I just want to end on a tangible, you giving back, even though you've given so much of your time already now, for you to kind of give back to people that are listening. And it is again about the lockdown. But the question is, do you have any advice for anyone just to get through the day, the minutes, the seconds, or the week?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this actually, and I am the worst for following my own advice. But on this occasion, it's actually advice that I am taking myself.
Good.
Because I think it's really important that even though you can't go out and see your friends, you still make places available where you can. So like, instead of going and playing D&D at Rafe's house every couple of weeks, we set up a Discord account thing so that we can play it online. And give or take, every week we've had at least one game. And it's like brought us all together. And so even if it's not like, even if you're not a massive nerd and you don't play D&D, like to have that kind of group call, if it's a video call or just like a group listening call, it's good to have, like, still have that connection with the outside world and the people that you would usually see. And I think it's important to organize several in advance, so there's always something to look forward to. And like, even if you're having a shitty week, but you know that you're going to chat to people on Friday, you know, you can like vent about it on Friday. And also go to bed early, which is something I haven't been doing, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Well, listen, thank you so much. And you heard it there, everyone. So Laura's advice for the lockdown currently is just to spend time with your mates, make that connection, make sure you're getting involved with each other, and also to try and get some regularity in your sleep, potentially going to bed early, waking up early. Laura, we are running out of time. Instagram is trying to kick us off. But I just want to say thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And yeah, just want to say goodbye.
Thank you. I've had so much fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been amazing. And hopefully we have you back on. Right, bye, everyone.